Good evening, good morning, and hello and welcome everybody to season 3, episode 19 of the Lumière Learning Monday. Our guest today is Vidya Rao, nature lover, mom of two beautiful children. She's a home schooling mom, and she's also the writer of a very interesting cookbook. And we'll come and cover all of these topics as we proceed with our conversation. So, Vidya, thank you so much for being our guest today.
It's my huge honor. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so happy.
Vidya, you grew up in, you've lived in many cities of the world, and all of these have, shaped your uh, mindset and the way you approach and embrace nature in everything that you do in such a sustainable and a beautiful the choices that you have made. So, you want to tell our, listeners a little bit about your journey and where you are at this point and how you've pivoted so well in the lockdown as well as mom and educator. So over to you.
Thank you. So yes, my I was born in Tanjore, the city of the temple city in Tamil Nadu. It's very popular for the Brihadiswara temple, and then I continued to live there for at least 7 years with my grandparents. And then so that itself, like living in the house which has open trees, open courtyard with trees and well, it was a lovely time. And then I moved to Bombay suburbs. Not much trees there then, but then my school was little far and away in the Vasai Gaon area, which is really beautiful because it still has that natural beauty. So every time I used to go by bus, I used to enjoy the views of the trees and the nature itself was just beautiful. So that whole journey was always something that kept me going. And then fast forward moving to do a graduation. I did my graduation in botany because when I took up those subjects, I realized that I really have this fascination for plant or classification. Somehow, among all the other subjects, topics, that caught my eye, and then it continued because I did my masters. So my graduation was from Ruya College. So we continued to live in Vasai, and I used to travel. And then my masters in Sathe, and then after I finished the plant taxonomy masters, I moved to Bangalore for my first research project. And then from there, I moved to Coorg, and I was working with the French Institute of Pondicherry and the Forestry College of Ponampet. So the significant part of that was, yes, I did pick up the Kannada language when I was in Bangalore, and so I can speak Kannada also. And then in Coorg, I enjoyed my life of research there because it was just beautiful. All the birds coming to you rather than you going after them. And then so my study was to study birds in the coffee plantations because coffee plantations need shade. So the farmers would choose to keep the indigenous trees or to plant foreign species like silver oak. So we needed to study and see if it's making an impact and if we can find some sustainable connection, because there were other things also going on parallelly. So other people were studying that. So I studied the birds, and ultimately we noticed that just the forestry alone was not helping, just the silver oak was not helping, but having a mix helped the nature and also the farmers because they can still have the monetary benefits of having a silver oak. So that way it was a very good study. And then I moved back to Bombay to stay with my parents. And then after that, I chose to not take up any new project so that I could stay with my grandmom, my mother's mother, and I could basically just take care of her, take turns, like we were taking turns to help her out. So I took a bigger turn so that everybody, because I was young, so I was easily more convenient to help her. So I helped, and then I finally got married. We moved to UK, and then we moved to Malaysia. So during my life in UK, we traveled as much as we could, observe the birds, butterflies, because my husband also is into birds and butterflies and everything. Because we met in Arunachal Pradesh during a butterfly meet. So and then Then back in Malaysia, again, now we have started as much traveling as possible. We went to Sabah in Borneo and we took the kids basically. So they are also getting exposed to a lot of nature. And Malaysia itself is beautiful. It's a great place to be. And my husband is also into gardening. So there is garden for the kids to explore. And I maintain a very rough, wild garden in the back so that the children get to do anything they want and they learn in a more wilder way. So there's an organized garden, there is a inorganized one for them to explore, see the snail babies or eggs, lizard eggs, and all that. So that has been, and homeschooling has given us this chance to, be flexible. Okay, get up at 7 or go at night at 10 o'clock to walk and see a civet like that. So no rush. To okay, we have to get up and run. So we can.
Vidya, had you planned that you would be a homeschooling mom?
No, no, no. We
You
definitely
come from a family of educators. Your mother has been in
yes,
education, right?
yes. Same with my husband also. So he also is a academician because now he is an associate professor in a university. So so yes, it for him particularly it took a time to observe and see the benefits. So he was on board, but we were being very careful. Like we just took it easy first. The first year when the lockdown came in, like that time Vega was going to a kindergarten. But the thing is that there the approach is more academic based. There's hardly play or it's more academic based, which was not really what we also wanted. But we just carried it on because we thought social life, let them go. So Vega is to go, and but it really didn't like seem like it was necessary. It didn't make a very big impact nor negative impact. So then when the lockdown came, first few months we tried to keep up with the school and all that. It didn't really work. It just didn't work. We thought it's too much for a 4-year old to do this online and everything. It's not for them. So we backed off and we went very slow. I started teaching her little by little, and then we went even slower. We just kept going back. I'm like, okay, we don't need to do this, we don't need to do that. And then we went easy and easy and easy. And when I say easy, means just whatever they wanted to do that day, like anything that they wanted to do that day. Or we just go out for the park time.
How
Or
old are they now? You want to tell our audience that.
now Vega is nearly 7. Few days later
So
she'll
five
become
years ago, this was 2 years ago that you're
two
saying
and a
when you
half
started
years.
the
Yeah.
homeschooling. So she was five
Four
and a
and
half.
something. No, she was 4 and something when we slowed down the school thing. And then by the time she was 5 years and 3 months, we were pretty much on our own with absolutely nothing connected to any school. Then when we saw that they are learning and enjoying more being at home with me and my husband, and since it was lockdown anyway, we couldn't go out. So then we thought, okay, then I said, okay, I need some support to gain confidence and to have a community to lean on to whenever I feel stuck.
Yeah.
Then I joined a homeschooling course offered by a lady called Aubrey Hargis. So she is a Montessori educator. So she has worked in a school for more than 11 years, and she chose to homeschool her both children who are now 11 and 14 with her husband, who is also having an educational background. And now what she provides is support to all the parents who wish to homeschool their children in the Montessori way. So I really felt very good doing the course and getting the support because the whole community is fabulous. And what I really liked is that they don't only provide support in terms of educating your child, but it's a wholesome support. Like they recognize you as a parent, as a mother, and they also remind you that you need your need. Like I mean, your needs are equally important. You can't be available if you're not catering to your needs. It's not
Beautiful.
just about what you can give. It's more about
Okay.
how you can give yourself enough strength and care so you also model that. So it has been fantastic because she's not like, okay, this is how you do it, that is how she's more like, okay, you know you can do this way, you find what is convenient for your family. So slowly and steadily, uh, with that support, and seeing the children feel good, that you can see that freedom is helping them following their love for going outdoors, it was helping them. And then eventually my husband also felt that this is a good way to go, and let's go on, and we'll see if when they're a little older, if they wish to experience school, we may consider that. But if they wish to continue this way, we will find what are the different options that can help us.
Lovely. So, your apprehensions in the initial days of fears, what were they, Vidya, and how did you overcome them as far as, their learning, whether keeping up with milestones, how they were
Yes.
going to get ready for the world when they're older? Did you have those kind of worries, and did you have those kind of conversations with your
Oh
husband?
yes. Oh yes. So the biggest, so the most important thing for me was to have him on board. I was not worried. I had told myself to not worry about anybody else, but have his support, and because ultimately he's the parent, and he needs to be able to understand what I am doing. So what I realized is that giving that 1 year slowly helped him to see what was happening, and I didn't even have to say anything. He told me that he saw how much they have grown, and how much they understand, and how much they could focus on, like reading, for example. So
Mm-hmm.
this whole year, he noticed how much Vega has been reading. She has picked up reading quite rapidly without like I don't even recall how much. It's just simple. It was just, we used to do little games, we used to do little things, and eventually she just picked up, and more reading with her just helped. So, we wouldn't have spent so much time reading had she been going to a school, traditional school, because then we would be focusing on homework and all that, and other things. So that way, yes, the apprehension has been very intense, because as a mother, yes, I'll always be challenged whether I'm doing enough, I'm doing correct things, or right or wrong. So this one was a very tricky, because everyone asked about social life, and sadly, post corona or during corona, online didn't provide that social life anyway. So we thought that, okay, let's try it for the next 2 years and see. And of course, we didn't expect Corona to stretch so long, the lockdown to stretch so long. So, and eventually we were reluctant to send them also to school, because the school was not providing what we really envisioned. So this was going good, and the support helped me. We could do more outdoor activities, which helped really. Just cooking. We spent so much time cooking together, me and the kids. So little by little, we realized that it was going good. Yes, the challenge was always on my head like a cloud. Okay, are they learning this, or are they learning that? But every single day, I would experience some wonderful thing. Like, for example, Vihana has never stepped into a school, and she
Mm.
now around 4 years and 8 months. Just few months back, she just came to me and said, "Amma, 3 and 3 gives 6, right?" We never even did finger counting. I have never done any addition with her, nothing. We have just reached the point where she knows the quantity and she knows the number symbol. But 3 plus 3 is 6, or to divide equally, she just figured it by herself. And she has been using all the terms about length or breadth, or she understands drowning or floating and sinking, and lot of science
Concepts.
concepts
Mm.
just by being with Vega. Like Eklavya, she just picks up everything. And even now, when I ask her to come to do a lesson, she says, "It's okay." And I leave it, because that's how they say that you keep inviting and you gently let them join you. But I've noticed that whenever I give a lesson to Vega, she joins or she watches. And she'll just pick up what she can, and then reading has helped a lot. So I think in this journey, we realize that language, reading, that is, and here and there a bit of mixing in maths is more than enough, and then they pick up a lot of things. So
What about how much digital or technology exposure do your children have, Vidya?
So we do expose them to certain things. Like, for example, yes, we do lean on to Netflix, but it is very specific. The content is curated by me. I choose, and I let them choose from the choices I have made, and
Mm-hmm.
that's only on television. So they don't get to watch it on anything else. So which means that they know that, okay, this is the time they can sometimes choose, like two episodes or three episodes, but on the television, which means they don't control it.
How
So that's
much time and how
between 40 minutes to 60, based on the episodes. So that's the upper limit of that. And yes,
every day?
sorry. Every day, only if you're all the day, if you're home all day, then yes. If you're out and about, then it doesn't matter. There is no, this is just that 1 hour gives me a break to breathe also. Otherwise, because since morning we keep doing a lot of things, so sometimes I don't get a chance to even sit and just, think about what next. So that is the time when I choose. I prefer to choose like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So it's not really close to bedtime. So that is the choice I make for, because otherwise it's hard. But yes, we also alternate with something called as an Epic app, and that's an online library. So I also let them read books or listen to books through that app, which really helps. So some days they choose that also.
It's called what?
So
You said Epic?
Epic. So Epic, yeah. So Epic is an online library, because we don't get a lot of books easily there, because we don't have much access to library. So this has helped them pick up language skills, and so there is a read aloud option. So the book is read, and in a slow pace, so clear, and so the voice is very clear and nice. So it's not some odd robotic sound, but it's a clear sound. So Vihana, I think, has benefited even more.
Okay.
So because she knows stuff, and then sometimes if you wonder how she knows, then she would have read the book, about her choice. So cats and dogs, so there also they get to do this as a joint activity,
Mm-hmm.
and they also get to like choose. So they really get to know that, okay, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. So they
Right.
also get to take turns. And so for now I have not let them have a separate time, because I'm still trying to regulate how much screen they should be exposed to. So right now they do it together between 30 to 40 minutes. So because Vihana, that's how much she can sit. So I'm okay with it. So even if she just gets
Right.
up, it's fine. So
You also do some projects and experiments with them as part of the Montessori training, where they're looking at the life cycle of different creatures or watching
oh,
some
yeah,
natural
yeah.
habitat activity.
Yeah, so yes, like you said, yes, sometimes we also come across these documentaries that we set up, and we do some themes. So in this, this Aubrey Hargis, who has this child of the redwoods, right? So she also has a paid membership community. So you pay, and then you are a part of the community, and you get a lot of benefits of that. So there are two talking sessions, and then you also get a whole like a mini curriculum package based on a theme. So this month's theme, for example, is bones. So
Bones.
which means that yeah. So they have given there's something called as three-part cards, which are Montessori uh, material. So you get to teach the child, and so you are free to do whatever you can. But yes, they suggest a lot of activities. They give you the material that you can print out. They will give you a list of books to read, and they will give you art. There is a music, art, everything connected to bones. So last month was folk, and the previous one was sun. So this way, and last year in December there was moon. So if you again go back to the earlier materials, you can always connect. And
Uh,
Vihana and Vega, they love the theme. They are able to now, over time, it's been more than 1.5 years that we have been doing this. So there was jellyfish theme, there was cacti theme. Vega and Vihana have really benefited by doing this. So they have been learning a lot. So these themes help us to again connect with the books, and then they have included grammar and math exercise based on the theme. Like bones, the math would be connected with the number of bones, and you can make it simple for smaller children, make it complicated for older children. So this is how I make it simple, because I know it is a lot of work for me. So I try to just stick around this theme and do the other simple things we can do, like outdoor. And so for me, I hold on to this theme, helps me, and then we revisit older themes.
uh-huh.
So things like that.
Amazing. We've talked about homeschooling. I want to move quickly to the book. And that was again a big project to do while you're a homeschooling mom, living in a foreign country without help. And I'm really, really impressed and inspired with the way you went about curating the recipes, doing the exactitude of getting them vetted on taste and the absolute traditional. So you want to tell our audience a little bit about what OPOS is and, your writing process. We don't have much time, but I do
Sure.
want to.
Yes, yes. So Opus is basically one pot, one shot as a cooking, and this has been pioneered by a gentleman called Mr. Ramakrishnan. So he started using a 2 liter cooker, and he gave a fixed measurements, and he said, and most of the meals can be done like a big Onam Sadhya can be done under 1 hour. Everything. So I came across this in a parents group, like a mommy group, and then what happened? I tried it, and then it worked, and I saw that it was very handy. And then slowly, my everyday cooking became with Oppo. So I basically have a 2 liter cooker, which is called a pressure baker or a magic pot, because now the Oppos themselves have started having a tie-up and producing good cookwares that suits the Oppo's cooking. And I was a part of their Facebook group where they were doing all the experiments. And then then after Mr. Ramakrishnan produced his own book, the first book to help the people, then he offered support to all the other members of the group to come up with cuisines they would like. So he offered a collaboration, and then I joined when Vihana was very little, and they were very patient with me and allowed me the time I needed to come up with the book. And this book involved my own cuisine that I was raised with, right? So that means that I needed it validated by my grandmother. If she feels it was not as she makes, then it was of no point. So I came to India a couple of times in between, 2 3 times, and every time it was the whole vacation was going in the trials. So my mother would always do a traditional way with more measurements, send me the traditional recipe. I would convert it to Opus format, and then I would try it. And then once I got it right, I will tell her to try here in India. She would try and say, okay, this sounds okay. And then we would go on like that. And then if there was any changes recommended from the Opus team that okay, this doesn't follow the rules, so you may have to tweak this, tweak that, then again I will incorporate those changes, and then finally I would do a proper video. And then there was one video done on Facebook, and then we would download it because it was the most simplest and straightforward way of recording videos. And then there is an Opos app, so we basically upload the recipe, give the relevant video link, and then once we had the whole book done, so it got published through the Kindle format. So now if you go, you can get it from Amazon Kindle, and then if you have the Opos app, then you can get the video access. Otherwise you will be able to enjoy the recipe, and you'll get to see the photos. So the videos are available now on the app. And just to see what Opos is, there is a YouTube channel also, so you can see how it works. And but yes, my whole pregnancy with my second child and a toddler, the whole journey I managed by myself, thanks to Opus, and I ate healthy food, homemade food, thanks to this. And I also became brave enough to sign up to this project, which meant so much of rounds of validation. And my father, my grandmother couldn't even make out that I did it in a different way. And my mother was totally amazed because so many recipes that takes half an hour to 45 minutes for her was done in just 5 minutes. That's it, done and dusted. So, like that.
So, how did have you changed as a person through this OPOS cookbook experience? I'm very curious to know.
Well, I think actually until that point, to be very honest, I thought that okay, there's so many projects in my life that I tried to do, and I persevered, I gave my best, and still sometimes things didn't work out. So I was almost losing hope because I really stretched my best. But then my mom kept encouraging me and said that, and my husband, they both, and everybody, who knew how much I have been putting, they said, don't back off. Like, I have my close friends who know, and then they just uh, came in every different form and helped me and said, you can do this and this will finish successfully. And I finally, it just happened, and then I realized that yes, I can go deeper, and I don't have to give up. And it made me realize I can do it. I can do anything I wish for, and I should just go that far, to get that victory. And sometimes not all victories can be done faster. Like, there's no fixed timeline for achieving anything. Sometimes some things can really take a long time. And I felt really proud of myself. I managed this. I pulled it off, and it was almost. I felt it was difficult, but I pulled it off. So yes, there was a really proud moment for my own self, and I thought,
Vidya, you also have a knack of making things difficult for yourself, like baby
yes,
wearing, making those cloth diapers, and then educating, breastfeeding.
yes.
You sort of made what were hard choices in terms of how much you were giving of yourself to your parenting journey, and not just for yourself, but so selflessly educating the community and supporting moms. So, briefly, I want you to talk about baby wearing as an idea and how that has helped you as a parent.
So baby wearing has helped me a lot, because me and my husband, like when like we could travel and we could breastfeed very conveniently. All I had to do it was all I had to do was that, have the baby in my carrier, just walk around, and and then if the baby is crying for feeding, I just lower the baby carrier. I can still feed her discreetly, no problem. And so it's like traveling became possible only because of baby wearing. Because all we had to do is just put the baby in the carrier, go wherever we want. And when the second one was to be born, my husband used to carry Vega, I used to carry Vihana, so nothing stopped us. So journeys became convenient. The baby was kept close. So when Vega would struggle to sleep, I could just put her and my hands were free to do work. I could clean the house, cook. I could even sit and watch TV when she was sleeping on me. So it really helped, and I feel that it's like a modern tool, but still holds some. It's not modern. It was always there. We have seen. I'm sure you would have seen, even when you have gone to northeast and West Bengal, everywhere, it has been there, in our culture. So now it's become easy. So I think it's a must for every parent, especially if they wish to travel and have some hands-free moment, so we can snack on and have the baby and still snack. So things like that. So there is a community out there for baby wearing parents, and so same with for breastfeeding also. So I was a part as a peer counselor for breastfeeding, and because and even Vihana, she weaned herself by the after 4 years, so she was nursed for more than 4 years. So there is community support now. Any questions, anything, I have had this long journey where I didn't know anything. I had this support and I have gained a lot of wisdom and knowledge. I also had this opportunity to help other mothers through the same platform and make a lot of amazing friends. They're friends for life now. So
And this community that you talk about now is a global community, or is it India based? Or...
it is India based, but still it's global, I would say, because if a mom, like if a mom is living in UK and she's an Indian mother, or any, actually there's no restrictions to join. Although it is called breastfeeding support for Indian mothers, there's no restriction for anybody can join basically. But it helps to keep it Indian. But yeah, anybody can be a part of it. So I'm in Malaysia. I'm still part of the group. So everybody, even the founder, she used to live abroad, and then now she has moved back to India. So yes, it is a global community. That's what I would say.
So we were in conversation with Vidya Rao, mother of two girls, a nature lover and nature educator, who has incorporated this nature education by becoming so forward in the way she communicates about sustainable choices. She has herself, she's a role model. She's written a book on a very sustainable way of cooking as well, which saves time, which saves labor, and it allows her to do more with her time. And in her very classic style, not content to doing things smartly herself, she shares so much of herself through her wonderful writing. And you can follow her on social media. She's part of many communities as sharing her experiences, counseling, and mentoring. Vidya Rao, who's come to us from Malaysia doing this interview. Thank you so much, Vidya, for this generous sharing that you've done with us and our viewers. So thank you.
It's my pleasure. And, and thank you for this chance, actually. Thank you.
Thank you.